All right, this is Chris Morrow, and I'm at Comic-Con at home. I'm really at the gas lamp trolley station, so that's why I have the mask on. But I'm talking to a bunch of people at storytelling in video games. And if you don't mind introducing yourself and tell me where you are at home.
Sure. Hi, my name is Sam Maggs. I moderated the panel. I'm home in Los Angeles right now, and I've done work for BioWare, Insomniac, and lots of other video game studios as a freelancer.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm Jill Scharr. I am a lead writer at Harebrained Schemes in Seattle and Washington, and I am at home in Seattle.
I'm Charles Beacham. I'm a writer for Mythical Games, and I'm at home outside of Seattle in North Bend, Washington.
Hi, I'm Megan. I am currently working on Secret Things, but I worked before at Respawn on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I also wrote for Battle Chef Brigade. Right now I'm at home in Burbank.
All right, I'm Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at home, and I'm actually at the gas lamp trolley station. That's why I'm wearing this mask. And I'm talking to the panelists on storytelling in video games. So hi guys, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and tell me where your home is.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sam Maggs. I am at home in Los Angeles. I'm the author of the recent book, The Unstoppable Wasp for Marvel, and I've done writing for BioWare, Insomniac, and a bunch of other video game studios.
Hi, I'm Jill Scharr. I'm a lead writer at Harebrained Schemes in Seattle, Washington, and I am at home here in Seattle.
Hi, I'm Megan Fausti. I'm at home in Burbank right now. I'm currently working on things that are secret, but I formerly worked with Respawn on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and on Battle Chef Brigade for Trinket Studios.
Hey guys, I'm Charles Beacham. I'm a writer for Mythical Games, and I'm at home in my little town outside of Seattle, North Bend, Washington.
Hey folks, I'm Milo Smiley. I'm a game writer and producer. Currently, I'm a production intern at Blizzard Entertainment, and last summer I had the incredible opportunity to work as a writing intern at Insomniac on Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Hey there, I'm Shayna Moon. I'm currently a senior technical producer at Unity Technologies. In the past, I was on the production team for God of War.
So nice to meet you all. Tell me about the panel. What happened? What did you guys talk about?
The panel was super fun to put together. I love talking about storytelling in video games, especially because I think, you know, video games are the biggest selling entertainment medium in the whole world. We spend a ton of time talking about writers of books, of comics, of, you know, movies and television shows, but we spend almost no time talking about what goes into making the dialogue, the narrative, the writing in a video game. So we wanted to kind of take you through that process and what it looks like for people in all different kinds of positions in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a lot of fun to hang out with some old friends and some new friends, just talking about the projects that we're working on and kind of, you know, some of our best practices, and to kind of help inspire people who haven't, you know, really had a chance to learn about how we do what we do. It was really exciting.
Yeah, our processes are very shrouded in mystery a lot of times, so it was nice to hear everybody's different experiences and kind of get to figure that out together.
Yeah, video games are kind of their own beast in that it's not really like writing for a movie, for example, because it's got to be interactive and you can't have those long monologues. You got to leave room for the player agency. So what does that mean? There's like a more physicality to games. Players can actually like pick up the Excalibur or whatever and touch it and slay a bunch of monsters with it. They can pick their endings sometimes. They can. It's a more kind of they're more role-playing tools that are available to a writer or narrative designer in this medium than there are in others. So it's like a slightly different approach. Just like, you know, writing a book is different than writing a film script.
How does someone get into your craft? I mean, really, what advice would you give, you know, the younger generation if they're really interested in you know, developing their own video game and putting their own storyline together? How would they start?
Milo, you're interning right now. Do you want to talk about how you got into the industry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely someone who's part of the younger generation. I would say that the most helpful thing you can do to get into game writing is to start thinking about like like how, like what people have mentioned, like how you can factor that interactivity into normal writing, just because it's so much different than every other form of media writing. You need to advocate for like someone who's actively experiencing your media and can like go in any direction and do anything. And like sort of thinking about that as you practice, if you can work in a team on any games, or even work on a game on your own, because most game development software is free and like pretty accessible these days, which is like very cool. I would definitely look into creating some things so you can showcase your work to like potential employers and sort of like show what you can do to people who you're trying to work with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off of that, and to add to what you said, the most important thing you do is make stuff, right? Like, I think all of us are started out as fans of games or fans of story, and writing, working with you know, a small group of friends to make something is one of the best things that you can do to kind of put your you know, put your best foot forward and get into the industry. I remember Jill, when we were talking about how we broke in, you shared something about how you started writing fan fiction, and that was one of your first, you know, kind of forays into the industry.
Well, I mean, I think it wasn't like, it's not the most like direct way, but yeah, I was gonna say, like, most video game work is working on someone else's IP or someone else's franchise. So developing your ability to write for characters that you didn't create is essential, and that is basically what fan fiction is. So, you know, like having that, you know, ability in your portfolio, I think just a varied portfolio is really important too. Like I'm gonna shout out a program called Twine, TWINE, that is a really easy way to just get right in and start making interactive fiction. So it's a way to you can put together stuff on your own really easy, because a lot of games, most games, it's impossible to make something on your own, right? But with Twine, you can put something together that is interactive and shows that you are sort of grappling with what interactivity in fiction means, and having that in your portfolio, plus, yeah, maybe some fan fiction, a screenplay or two, some like, you know, item descriptions or something.
It's true. Twine is such a great tool. It's actually what I used to get my first job in games. It's completely free, completely online. You don't even have to download anything. Tutorials are super easy, all entirely text-based, and it lets you make your own choose your own adventure video game with basically no programming experience. So if you want to try to write a video game that you can publish and show to people, use Twine.
Yes.
In your opinion, what video game has the best storyline?
That's such a loaded question.
I know, it's like saying,
you have to go first.
I mean, basically, my kind of like highfalutin like game design academic thing is that like there are so many games that mean so many different people just based on their stories. I mean, one game that I can think of that wasn't, you know, wasn't really kind of the game that, you know, the type of thing you would think is, there's this game called Thomas Was Alone.
Oh.
And that game is so great because all of the characters in it are like squares and rectangles. And the really beautiful thing about it is that, you know, it's a pretty like simple presentation of a puzzle game, but it really delves into like some deep emotional themes of loneliness and, you know, finding your place in the world. And that was just a phenomenal like emotional experience going through that story and playing it. And I think the really special thing about games like that is that that story is made by the interactivity of it, and you couldn't tell that story in another medium.
Yeah, I think it's even hard to compare different video games, because video games they're themselves so broad. Like Dragon Age Origins and Shadow of the Colossus are both games with great stories, completely different stories. In one, you can choose your ending, and the other, it always ends the same way. But they both, the way that the mechanics support the story that they're individually trying to tell is what makes them great.
Yeah, this is, I mean, for me, it's a almost impossible question to answer. I'll give props to Megan for working on one of my favorite games that actually recently came out. Jedi Fallen Order was an amazing game to play as a Star Wars fan, because it's so excellent at delivering on the fantasy of being a Jedi. And it does that without even allowing me to like create my own character, right? Like I had to be Cal, and I loved being Cal. Then there's another game from my youth, Ico, which, you know, the whole, like one of the big mechanics in that game is you have to hold the prince's hand the entire time. And that's such an amazing story to tell just from that mechanic. And so I'll always love that game, but like the best story of all time, I don't know, it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I'm going to take the easy way out on it too, and I'm not going to say the whole game, though I do think the story in Dragon Age Inquisition was incredible. There was a specific character named Cassandra who you kind of think is this very by the books religious kind of zealot when you first meet her, and you're able to kind of probe that relationship with her and find out that there's a lot of depth, and she actually made me feel differently, not only about her as a character, but about ways that we can interact with people who are very radically different in the way that they think than we are. And I think that that's a huge achievement in empathy and character building for a game to create. And again, it's something that you could really only create in this kind of interactive medium.
Well, that's great. Anything else that you wanted to add about your panel?
I think one thing that we did touch on was just kind of how deep the writer experience is on games. I think some people have a perception of writers on games that they're coming up with this amazing story and then they're writing the script for that story as if it were like a movie script, but it gets in so much more detail than that. Like writing touches so many different aspects of the whole gameplay experience. And I think that's something that only a person who has had an experience as a writer on a game can really tell you. So I think the panel kind of goes into some of those topics, and I think people would be very interested to hear about all those different things that writers do on games.
It's true. Each of us has a very different, I would say, job, even though technically we're all in game narrative or game writing. We all have very different jobs depending on the studio that we're at, our title, our role. Video games are an industry that is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger with every year. There's so much growth happening and we need so many more people in this field. So if you are excited or interested in video game writing, listen to the panel. We give you lots of tips and we hope to see you in our offices one day because we need more people in this industry telling their stories.
Thank you guys. Such a pleasure to meet y'all.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
nice
much.
to meet you too.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Good to
You
see you
too.
guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.